Well, that's the very first assignment. It was my first sponsor's first assignment to me, and it's always been my first assignment to sponsees. What are you grateful for? Animal, vegetable, mineral. Doesn't matter what. Just don't pad the list. You don't have to list each of your friends. Just say, I'm grateful for my friends, or I'm grateful for my family. The idea of a gratitude list is not to, become a sob story of oh, thank you, everybody. But and it's not just to list everything in your life, because I don't think you can be grateful for everything in your life. I'm not really grateful for being an old man now. I accept it. I'm grateful that I can accept it. I heard some people say that they were grateful that they're an addict. And I've never been grateful to be an addict. I'm grateful that I know I'm an addict so that I can take certain precautions and that I don't fall into active addiction or into addictive behaviors or thinking. But to me, the number one thing on my gratitude list is I'm grateful to be clean today. And that's because if I wasn't clean, I wouldn't have the gratitude for all the other things on my gratitude list. And that's the only hint I give sponsees. If you're grateful to be clean, then that makes everything else possible. And I don't think being grateful for God can even come before that, because, God has a great sense of humor and he's understanding, and he's not going to hold that against you. So I tell sponsees, come up with 10 things you're grateful for and then call me and we'll talk about them. And then keep the list open and we'll keep adding. My last gratitude list had 120 things on it. It's also a kind of test. If after a week they haven't come up with a list of 10 things, I say, okay, just get a 3x5 card and list 3 things you're grateful for. I'm sure you can do that. And if after 2 or 3 weeks have passed and they haven't even done that, it's clear that they're waiting for magic to happen. It's magical thinking. They don't want to really make an effort on their own behalf for their own recovery. They want somebody to recover for them. And they don't want to make any real effort. Either laziness is deeply ingrained or addiction is so deeply ingrained that there's a resistance against working a program of recovery. And I won't even move on to the first step questions, which is make a list of all the things that you're powerless over, all the things that you're unmanageable over, and all the aspects of your addiction besides, a list of your drugs, but also a list of those things that you've been addicted to besides drugs. And there's many other questions as well. I'm very grateful that my first sponsor believed in writing and that we wrote from the very beginning on all the steps, not just on, say, the fourth step or the 10th step or the 8th step list. We wrote on all the steps, and that's how I worked the program with all sponsees. And I developed a whole series of questions that allowed writing on the steps. It's a technique. It's not the only technique of recovery. It just seems to be very self-revelatory, because once you put things down on paper in black and white, it's kind of hard to take it back. If all I do is think about the aspects of my addiction, as I grow uncomfortable or get a little too close to the truth, I want to go unconscious. The addictive part of my brain wants to shut that back down again. And I'll go into forgetting mode. When we used to get high, we used to practice, what were we just talking about? And because we were suggestible, everybody would forget what we were just talking about. Well, I can't afford to forget. So if I put it down on paper, I see it in black and white, and I can come back to it. And if I can't look at it now, I can look at it later. So it turns out to be a highly therapeutic tool, because it's like drawing on a part of the brain that, it's a free-flowing part that taps into the subconscious. I also suggest don't try to edit yourself while you're writing. You can come back and edit later if you want to correct spelling and grammar mistakes and stuff like that. But it's important to just let it all hang out, let it all flow onto paper. If you come back and realize that part of it was lying to yourself, you can put brackets around it, or you can cross it out if you need to. But it's an exercise. It isn't recovery per se. It's one exercise in recovery. You know, we work out recovery in a lot of different ways, interpersonally, spiritually, psychologically, prayer and meditation. There's a lot of different modalities of recovery, and writing is one of them. It turns out to be one of the most effective ones.